mobility is not just about moving people, it's also about moving water in and refuse out. And that surely is one of the greatest both triumphs and great arcs of New York, is to try and create an infrastructure both for water and for sewers that makes the city healthy. So this starts in the 1790s, right, with Aaron Burr and the fight over the Manhattan Water Company, and then culminates, I guess, in the Croton Aqueduct in the 1840s. But can you tell us a bit about your arc of how water and sewerage happened in New York?
Sure. And this is very broadly speaking. Water was a commodity that wealthy people could afford initially because there were springs, and so you could get it from a good place if you had somebody to bring it to you. Ultimately, Aaron Burr formed a water company and had a franchise to, in theory, bring water through these pipes to many homes. They never went to many homes, and instead there was a certain number of people who were served by it, but not very many. Most people continued drawing water from what became the Collect Pond, a very contaminated source. And it was really only when sickness started to appear and when there was a series of fires. What will get people to think that they need water? Fire. It doesn't matter how many poor people die, but it was fire. And so this crazy idea of bringing water from 60 miles away into the city was born by some terrific engineers. I mean, New York City's been blessed with some of the most far-sighted engineers, most of them in the 19th century, than any city in the world. It really is extraordinary. And damming the Croton River and actually bringing water all the way down by gravity to the city, clean water, and then slowly connecting up as many neighborhoods as possible was really probably, I would think, the greatest wonder of the 19th century.
It is amazing, right? How was it paid for?
It's an interesting question. They did actually have to figure out how to go and essentially early bonds to go out and raise the money to do it. And of course there was no strong city at that time. So it was a group of, Common Council city fathers figuring out how to do that, and some very clever engineers all the way along.
This sort of 19th century tradition of strong, independent but public entities, I guess, this is a model of what that can achieve?
It's a mix, because to me the 19th century in New York is quasi-private entities that actually had a series of franchises to do things. And sometimes they were friends of the powers that be, and that became problematic when they became somewhat monopolistic. But it was always private enterprise that actually, and actually the water system is one of the first things where you really saw some kind of central agent doing something for the civic good, because there was an awful lot that was still private at that time. Sanitation was private, the policing, an awful lot of things were still private.
Our oldest forms of power were just things that you I guess, brought the wood or then later the coals into your own home or your own factory to do it. But then there was this miraculous thing called electricity, which people figured out how to harness in the late 19th century, and somehow or other they figured also how to move that through the city. And what were the challenges in bringing power that were different from the challenges in bringing water or the grid?
The challenges in bringing power initially turned out to be the weather. The original power that was brought in above ground lines. And people don't stop and think about it here, but if they did, they'd realize that they never see a power line in most of New York City. You still do in some areas.
Living in the suburbs as I do now, I still find it weird to actually see those power lines above ground.
Correct,
right?
correct. Well, you started in one place. That's right. That's right. I grew up with them, and now I don't see them, and it feels very nice. But the initial power that came to New York City came through power lines, and you see drawings of these lines that are absolutely everywhere, plugging in every house. And then, of course, there was the great blizzard in the 1880s that put an end to that, and both telecom, which was just starting, and electricity finally went underground. Finally went underground because the city was absolutely paralyzed for 2 or 3 days and cut off from the world, and people said, we can't possibly do this. And so that's when it went underground, and since then it's been extraordinarily reliable.